Amen. All right, if you'll stand with me, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You know, this month has been a month of special recognitions, and we have one more tonight, the Teacher Forum's scholarship recipient. I know we have one of them here tonight, and we have Kathy Moore here representing that group. So, Kathy, if you will join us down front. Yes, come on.
Whatever you find. Hi, I just want to say to everyone that this was a difficult decision. Not only did these candidates have great GPAs, but they had great character. And they had a great commitment to service. And so many of them expressed a desire to come back to Oconee. And I just thought that that speaks highly of the education that they've received. Several of them mentioned teachers by name. And so we're just doing great things in the classroom to have students who say, you know what, because of this teacher, I want to be a teacher. It was really difficult, but we're so proud of everyone who applied. Great representation from all three high schools. So we have a lot to celebrate in Oconee County. Yes. So this is for Abigail Glover. Congratulations. Thank you.
We're gonna let Mr. Handy get a picture. Why don't you stand right in between us somewhere, and we'll get Mr. Handy to tweet your picture out here.
And to Emily Estep from Walhalla, Abigail's from Seneca. Emily Estep from Walhalla and Alyssa Moorhead from West Oak. Thank you so much for having me.
We can get that to the courier for you.
Thank
You
you.
won't have to worry about that.
And again, I just reiterate what she said. It's just music to our ears when we hear that young people are interested in teaching. It's such a wonderful thing, and we just congratulate you on getting this scholarship and wish you the best. Thank you. All right, at this time, it's time to approve the agenda for the May 16th, 2022 regular meeting. You received that earlier. Did anybody have any changes? All right, very good. Then it will be approved with no objection. And we have no one here for public comment. So we will go on with our meeting. And the first item is the approval of minutes. Now, these are the minutes, and again, you received these earlier for the April 18th, 2022 combined board meeting and the April 28th, 2022 special call board meeting. Did anyone see any changes, any additions, deletions? Right? Very good. There being none, then those will be approved with no objection. And at this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Thorsland for his superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Of course, it's a busy time of year, and we've had many different activities and events going on. It continues to be enjoyable to see students and families back together in our schools, celebrating. So we've got graduation, of course, coming up in less than 2 weeks, hard to believe. But we'll be at the 3 high school stadiums for those. And Mr. Hanvey has your gowns, caps and gowns, and, well, I think it's just gowns, not caps, in the conference room back here for you to pick up and take to your respective graduation ceremonies.
You, Mr. Herring, won't miss that.
I know Mr. Herring likes to wear that big, heavy black gown out in the sun, so.
It's so comfortable.
So those ceremonies are 8:30, but there was an error at Seneca High in communicating with the company that prints the graduation announcements. And 9 o'clock was printed on the graduation announcements. So rather than start at 8:30 and have some people show up late, we decided we would just postpone to 9 o'clock. So Seneca High will be 9 o'clock. The other two schools will be at 8:30. And then the only other thing I wanted to share with you tonight, you have different colors of blue on a stapled sheet of paper in front of your monitor. And that is the board goals document from last year with an update in each of the 4 areas. Just to give you information on what we have been able to accomplish this year with regard to board goals, but also to kind of prompt you to be thinking a little bit more about what goals would be for 22-23. And our plan would be to try to nail that down at the board retreat on June 6th, possibly even vote on it that night at the board meeting on June 6th, so that we'll know what those goals are and have ideas. Some of the things that were goals for this school year, we didn't quite get completed, so some of them we'll recommend to be carried over. But again, we'll have plenty of recommendations, but we want you to take part in that and help us craft those as well. And it's a separate item here, but it's still me. If it's okay, I'm going to move down to senior Chromebook donation. Chromebooks are, their useful life is 4 years probably. And years ago, when we first started talking about having one-to-one devices for our students, we imagined a time when students would get a new Chromebook entering high school, 9th grade. They would use it for their 4 years of high school, and it would just go home with them. It would become a device that they own, and we would like to do that this year. The devices that our seniors currently have are several years old, and Pickens County does something they sold
Sell for
theirs
$6.
$6. We would
Not
like
worth the
to,
pain.
we would like to just allow our seniors to keep their devices. They have been paying $25
Yep.
insurance fee each year, just to insure them if they broke. So we feel like they have put some investment into those over the course of their career. And our procurement code requires that we get rid of any school district-owned property in certain ways. And one of those ways is not donating without your approval. So we have to have your approval to be able to do this. So later in the meeting, we would love it if you would make a motion to approve that seniors just keep their Chromebooks. And then, of course, the other grade levels will get new ones next year. This would just become what we hope is just normal routine, that seniors, they get one in 9th grade, they keep it for 4 years, they take it home with them at the end of their high school careers. So if you would be willing to do that as an action item in a couple of minutes, that would be great. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, and the next things we have are the action items, and the first one is the senior Chromebook donations. Did anyone have any questions or anything more? Dr. Thorson? No? Then we could have a motion that we donate Chromebooks to the graduating seniors this year.
I so move.
Okay. Second? Second. All in favor? Great. All right. Our next item of business is the first reading approval and policy JICA-R, student dress administrative rule. And Mr. Hanby, is that?
That is me. And I'm happy to answer any questions. We've discussed it multiple times. We've talked about how we've involved our student advisory in the process and how they have been on board with these recommendations, how this gets us more in line with what they're thinking we should be doing, as well as allows us to maintain the kind of order we need in the school by dressing appropriately and such. So I'm happy to discuss any questions or answer any questions that you have, but I think we've been over it enough that if,
I think the changes you made are very, very good. And I think it kind of equalizes the policy.
levels the playing field.
Yeah.
Ms. Dodd has been working on a visual representation of the new dress code that we'll release shortly, but it's,
Oh, yay.
it's good. It clearly shows pictures, not of our students, but just pictures of articles of clothing that are acceptable or are not acceptable. So it's good.
Well, we look forward to that. All right, so do I have a motion to approve on first reading, then policy JICA-R, student dress administrative board?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve policy JICA-R, student dress, as presented by the administration.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay. Dr. Ketterman. All in favor? And then our final action item is the second reading, final approval of FY '23 general fund budget. We've seen it for many weeks. We've looked at it for many weeks. Does anybody have anything different to add, say, question about it?
Still don't know what the final will be, right?
No.
We did hear today that the House added $50 million to one of the funds, but we don't know what effect that will have, what that would mean for us until the State Department sends us projections. We don't know exactly what that means. So, but we did hear that today. So they'll be back in session in a month to bring, take up the final budget and some other items on their agenda.
It's just a precarious position to be in, isn't it?
Very much.
Yeah. Okay, then if I have a motion for second reading, final approval on FY '23 general fund budget.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve on second reading, final approval, fiscal year '23 general fund budget.
Second.
Okay. All right, any discussion at all? All in favor? All right. Well, you told me. And that is the end of our action items and actually the end of our regular board meeting. For those of you here, we're not always quite this fast. We have a work session and then we have a meeting, which is pretty fast. But we do appreciate you coming. Do I have a motion for executive session for employment recommendations?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All right.
We will